Caleb Williams popped a hamstring during USC's attempt to win the Pac-12 last night. Matthew Stafford's out of the concussion protocol, but we have no idea when he's going to play for the Rams again. And the Galaxy, the premier franchise in MLS, got caught up in a cheating scandal. Yikes. Hi, I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos Morning Report. Rough 24-hour stretch for the Angelenos. It's December 3rd, 2022. I went to the Pac-12 championship game last night, and boy, am I glad I didn't buy any souvenirs. Who the hell wants to remember that? But today is a new day, and let's talk LA sports. If you like the content we put out, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notifications bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist, and by all means, comment. That's why I made the channel in the first place. So before we go through the news and notes, and we will talk a lot of USC in a moment, a quick look at the scoreboard. USC had a college football playoff berth on the line and went out, played their worst game of the year. Utah defended the Pac-12 title with a 47-24 victory over the Trojans. There is a rapid recap of the game on the USC playlist. To be honest, when I recorded it, I didn't know the extent that Williams was hurt. We're going to get to that in just a moment. Could the Lakers actually be figuring it out? It is a fair question to ask after they beat Milwaukee 133-129. Anthony Davis scores 44 points. Meanwhile, today, Sacramento's in town to play the Clippers at 1. The injury list for the Clippers, it keeps on a-swellin'. Luke Kennard, Norman Powell are out. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are a definite maybe, but if you've ever been on Tinder, you know a definite maybe means you've been catfished. Tough luck. Carolina's at the Kings at 7:30. The Hurricanes seem to fit the bill for LA. LA has defensive problems. Carolina is the 8th worst offense in the NHL, way below average. Now, Lincoln Riley said after last night's loss that Caleb Williams' hamstring went pop when the quarterback made a 57-yard run in the first quarter. He played the rest of the game injured. Riley had called it the gutsiest performance he ever saw. In the rapid recap, I had wondered if the SC was asking way too much of Williams because their running game was absolutely non-existent. Turns out even more was put on him, for Pete's sakes. And Utah coach Kyle Whittingham absolutely took note. When he noticed Williams was having trouble moving around, he sent more blitzes. It's strategy. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. With the loss to Utah, the Trojans will not go to college football playoffs. They also will not go to the Rose Bowl. That goes to the Pac-12 winner, that being Utah. So where from here? There's but one bowl projection that I saw last night, which came out on CBSSports.com. If their forecast is correct, USC would be sent to the Cotton Bowl on January 2nd. And if that's the case, I think the sting of losing last night should begin to fade. Because where was USC a year ago, right? In the span of a year, USC more than doubled their wins from last year, beat UCLA, beat Notre Dame, and came within one victory of the college football playoffs. And besides that, before going into the season, even with Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams, analysts predicted that the Trojans would at best go 9-3. Now, if they went 9-3, they would be the ones in line for the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl, right? Not a New Year's Day Bowl. And I haven't even mentioned the possibility of Williams getting the Heisman Trophy potentially. What about Williams' hamstring? Well, I've been looking for updates. He hasn't been reevaluated yet. If you're a Chargers fan, you know a little bit about hamstring injuries because of what's been going on with Keenan Allen. They take time to recover. It could be as little as just a couple of weeks, which would bode well for Williams in a New Year's Day game, or it could take as long as 3 months. And in that case, watch out for that bowl, I tell you. I heard from you guys loud and clear last night about the defense, but before everybody runs Alex Grinch with pitchforks and torches to the nearest Greyhound bus station and force him on the next shuttle to Peoria, keep in mind, everybody knew that the offense had way more firepower than the defense. You could only do so much rebuilding in the short amount of time that Riley had. Also, pundits in Arizona State and Colorado both urged local colleges to hire Grinch as their head coach. Now, granted, both of those jobs appear to be off the market. Arizona State hired somebody whose name I forget at the moment. The Buffaloes offered their gig to Deion Sanders. I went to bed last night thinking USC lost because of a lack of a running game. And I still believe it. Having said that, you are absolutely welcome to say otherwise. It's not a bad point. Matthew Stafford is cleared concussion protocol, but Coach Sean McVay will not play him against the Seahawks on Sunday. To an extent, I can get it. Because you're talking about a guy who potentially had a concussion. Do you really expect him to sit in a darkened room studying film morning, noon, and night, right? Also, he didn't have any snaps with the first team. So this makes sense. In his stead, John Wolford will start with Bryce Perkins backing him up. The strange thing, though, that will lead to speculation, including a little bit from me, is that McVay will not commit to starting Stafford at any point yet, whether it's next week or at any point in the rest of the year. This is my speculation. It's just a guess, but I think I'm right. Before the year started, Matthew Stafford had shoulder issues. Now he has head issues. It wouldn't surprise me if McVay is thinking, you know what? Just get everything healthy, come back 100% for next year. MLS has fined the Galaxy $1 million and suspended club president Chris Klein for about 5 months for allegedly paying former player Christian Pavone under the table in 2019. Now, Pavone was apparently the second best player on the team at that time, right behind Zlatan Ibrahimovic. They're saying that Pavone should have been designated as a designated player according to the league. You're only allowed 3 such players on your roster at any time. In 2019, for the Galaxy, it was Ibrahimovic, Jonathan Dos Santos, and Roman Alessandrini. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I can't explain the MLS salary cap rules. They are beyond Byzantine. It is a corn maze. Good luck figuring it out. So I cannot explain to you easily how the Galaxy broke the rules. What I can tell you is that the Galaxy, in their response, did not file an appeal and said that they will accept their punishment, which de facto, it's not an overt confession, but it means, yeah, we're going to deal with it. So in other words, I think they know they got caught cheating. I think their front office knows it. They broke the rules. And it's painful for a glamour franchise, which has been trying to rebuild itself into a contender, particularly when their crosstown rival hoisted MLS Cup last year. Now, in addition to the fine, the Galaxy also lose $1 million in so-called general allocation money. And the team will not be able to utilize the summer transfer window to add international players. Simplified, it's similar to the NCAA back in the day, declining scholarships for a college football team back in the day. Also, Greg Vanney will assume Klein's role until at least May. Now, where does the Galaxy go from here? There have been a roster that needs to be built right now. Without being able to use the summer transfer window to acquire players outside of the United States and Canada, that means the Galaxy roster has to be formed right now to the absolute best of Vanney's ability. This is a problem. It really is. Also, there has been a Klein out movement for years among Galaxy supporters for a variety of reasons. This has obviously added fuel to the fire, especially when you consider that Pavone was, again, the second best player on the Galaxy at the time, and the rest of the roster was so poor that the Galaxy barely made a stir in MLS Cup playoffs. Translation, you cheated, and what did you get for it, Mr. Klein? So is it possible, in the wake of this scandal, and as a Galaxy supporter, it pains me to admit it, but it is in fact a scandal. Is it possible the Galaxy fire Klein in the wake of this? Even though in most sports, a $1 million fine and being denied another $1 million is considered what? Chump change? Well, actually, yeah, it is possible. Inter Miami did not fire sporting director Paul McDonough for a similar scandal 2 years ago, but that's because McDonough fell on the sword himself. Because It's absolutely humiliating to drag your club into a cheating scandal. Dodger fans such as myself have been giving Astros fans the asterisk on their title for years. So we don't know. We're going to have to find out if Klein falls on the sword. He's either going to fall on the sword, the Galaxy are going to have to do the right thing by firing him, or they'll just go on as if to say this is no big deal. But they admitted they did something wrong. So apparently they think it's a big deal. There are 2 fewer names on the whiteboard of sports writer over exuberance, the cursed Dodgers are interested in whiteboard. This is where we've been listing all the names of this wild, unprofessional speculation from crabby little sports writers who have way more imagination than legitimate sources. It was up to 26, but starting pitcher Jacob deGrom has been wiped off the list. He signed with Texas last night. Then Colton Wong was traded to the Mariners. But hey, we got 24 names left, right? We have all sorts of irresponsible gossip we can take part in regarding the Dodgers. Professional sports writers, junior high school students. What's the difference? Am I right? Back when I was young and pretending that I had a future, I marveled at the passing ability of Magic Johnson. He was briefly number 1 on the all-time assist list. Since then, he has been passed up by 6 people. The latest one, LeBron James. LeBron dished out 11 assists last night in the win over the Bucks. He has 10,144. That is 3 more than Magic Johnson. But I ask you, can LeBron host a late night talk show? Huh? Am I right? Speaking of irresponsible journalism, there is a pundit again begging the Lakers to make a deal. In this case, though, it's not about draft picks. It's not about Russell Westbrook, but their best player, Anthony Davis. Brad Botkin of CBSSports.com. Put down the syringe and start wearing long sleeve shirts to work to cover up the tracks on your arms, because you are way too high to be writing crap like this. You will never get equal trade value for Anthony Davis. How do we know this? Well, did New Orleans get new equal trade value when they traded Anthony Davis to the Lakers? Because from where I'm sitting, the Lakers have a title. They're on a winning streak right now, and I think maybe the Pelicans qualified for the playoffs like once. So no, that's an extremely stupid idea by, what's his idiot's name? Brad Botkin. Let's change subjects. Wide receiver Mike Williams, center Corey Linsley, and right tackle Trey Pipkins are all ruled out for the Chargers game against the Raiders in Vegas on Sunday. We'll talk a little bit more about that later today. I'm going to create a Chargers preview for that game, which we'll put up on the channel. And finally, UCLA kicker Nicholas Barr-Mira has become the 6th Bruins player to enter the transfer portal. Now, technically, the transfer portal opens Monday, but if you are a graduate transfer, you get early dibs. He is the half-brother of former UCLA All-American linebacker Anthony Barr. So yet another hole for UCLA to fill. Having said that, let me know about what you think in the comments thread, because we have an absolute ton to get to. What do you think about USC's performance last night? Trading Anthony Davis? The Galaxy. So much to discuss. Let me know what you think. And if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We talk LA sports each and every day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Cortel Queso production. Take care.